Gunfreaknation is the president, TElectrik. And I just want to, know is, are y'all ready out there? Are y'all savage ready out there? It's been a lot happening right here in my city of Detroit. I mean, crime is at an all-time high. And it's like, it's overwhelming of all the crime that's going on. And it just feels like you're under siege. It's like the criminals, the savages, it's like they're everywhere. Within the last week, we had 2 murders. Most of the crime is senseless. When I say senseless, the deaths that happen, and you will see why. I want to say, first and foremost, I feel so, my heart is heavy right now. It was an 11-year-old girl got killed, man. I would have been uploaded, but just the tragedy of seeing that one thing that really bothers me and hurts me is when a child is harmed. From this 11-year-old child, this 11-year-old girl was asleep on the couch. She was sleeping on the couch in the living room, and the house got shot up, and she was shot in the head, and she didn't make it. She did not make it. When you got a kid that can't even lay down and go to bed, go to sleep. She was sleeping on a couch in the living room, and these savages drove by, did a drive-by, shot the house up. They counted 23 bullet holes. Whatever you savages got going on, leave kids out of it, man. They was mad at somebody in that house, and I blame them too, because you go out and you do dirt and you create these beefs with other people, and you bring that shit back home to where you lay your head, and innocent kids get caught in the crossfire. You know what they say, a bullet don't have a name on it. But to see this 11-year-old child sleeping on a couch and to be shot in the head, I had to take a break.
And also another sad story, an 11-year-old child sleeping on a couch, shot in the head in a drive-by shooting early this morning. The home riddled with dozens of bullets. That girl was rushed to Children's Hospital in Detroit about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and it all happened on Pennsylvania Street near Gratiot Avenue and I-94. Victor Williams is following this story for us. Victor, what have you learned this morning?
Well, right now, this 11-year-old girl is still in critical condition. All of this, like you guys said, took place at about 4 a.m., but we're able to finally see some of the damage right here on the door, where about 23 bullets went into this house. We're told that about 15 to 20 people were inside the home when this happened, but the only one injured was the child that was sleeping on the couch. Now, police say it was multiple shooters who carried out the attack on this home, the motive unknown at this time. Either way, people in the area are absolutely heartbroken that this happened so close to home.
Right now to a tragic update. In the shooting of that 11-year-old on Detroit's east side, the child has died from her injuries as a fourth person now stands charged in the case. Herschel Marion Jr. faces 9 counts of assault with intent to murder and other charges. Let's get out to Rob Maloney. He's live this evening. Rob, the other 3 in the case might see new charges now.
Yes, well, and murder certainly is what's on the table now. The prosecutor said that on Friday, and it's a very sad situation. They also told us that they were looking for more suspects, and as we see over the weekend, they picked up another person. It's becoming clear 11-year-old Lamara Glenn didn't stand a chance. Sleeping on the couch inside this home in Pennsylvania near City Airport, shot in the head in the early morning hours last Tuesday. She died over the weekend. 8 other people were in the house at the time. The newly arrested alleged shooter is 19-year-old Herschel Lanier Marion of Detroit, arraigned yesterday on 9 counts of assault with intent to murder, 1 count of discharge in or at a building causing serious impairment, and 10 counts of felony firearm. He's held in a $2 million cash bond. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy saying Marion rode in a stolen SUV with 19-year-old Nasir Levant Garrett and 18-year-old Takari Turner, firing 23 rounds into the home as evidenced by the bullet-riddled front door and side windows. They, too, face multiple counts of assault with intent to murder and felony firearms charges. Also charged is Takari Turner's 20-year-old brother for allegedly trying to hide the weapon after the shooting. They apparently had a grudge with someone inside the home. Prosecutors say was particularly violent, and they fear it could boil over if any of them are allowed out of jail. Police Chief James White lamented the very sad reality in Detroit with shootings like this.
You just can't police stupidity. And when adults decide to bring children into their confrontations and conflicts, that's just completely unacceptable.
The very next night, a 3-year-old girl was kidnapped because, and I'm going to say this, her dumbass grandma, and she deserved to be called a dumbass, because everybody know here in Detroit, I don't give a damn what time of day it is, but to make it even worse, you're going to leave your grandchild in your car, unlocked, with the engine running at a gas station at 2:30 in the morning. I don't care if you are just running in the gas station for 1 second. That's all it took. And a savage jumped in the car, took off with the car, didn't know it was a child in the car. Thank God. I thank God that he wasn't no pedophile or no true savage. They found the girl, the little 3-year-old girl, safe and sound, man. He left her in the car. When he realized that a child was in the car, he he jumped out and left the I hope they catch his ass still. But the grandma, she got to be held accountable for that, and I think that she need to be charged for that. From what I saw in the news, they thinking about bringing charges to her, because you don't leave your kid in a car unlocked and with the engine running to go in the gas station. That's neglect. That's neglect. So between them two senseless killings, man, it's like it's taking its toll on me. Parents and grandparents, don't leave your kids in your car unlocked with the engine running. And for you, if you out there living that life, don't bring it back home to where you lay your head at, because innocent people will get hurt or killed. I was praying and hoping that 11-year-old girl, I was praying and hoping that she would have made it through, but she didn't, man. She was shot in the head, man. They caught the savages that did that, you know. Another one that happened that made me go like, whoa. A young gentleman, man, he was killed. He had company over. I guess he had a friend that brought one of their friends, and they ended up getting into it. And let me tell you why they got into it. The friend, the so-called friend that brought a friend, spit in his sink. Spit in his sink. And all the victim did was say, why do you want to disrespect my house by spitting in my kitchen sink? And because of that, an argument ensued, and the one that spit in his sink pulled a gun and shot him to death. All because he wanted his apartment to be respected, man. You don't go in nobody's house and spit in their sink.
People began flooding the Facebook page of a Pontiac man with their grief and astonishment over his tragic death. Thank you for joining us. I'm Glenda Lewis. The shooting reported on Carriage Circle last night around 9:30. Even Sheriff Michael Bouchard calling the motive for the murder of Cornelius Jones unfathomable. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig speaking with family and friends of the man everyone simply knew as Corn.
Cornelius Jones was known to so many people simply as Corn, a man who was friendly and humble, even the sheriff calling the motive for his murder absurdly trivial. Whether he was playing charades with family and friends, dancing, or just being silly, Cornelius Jones was always the life of the party. But around 9:30 Wednesday night, Jones was shot and killed in his 4th-floor Carriage Place apartment in Pontiac, a stunning and unspeakable loss for his family.
He was all about family, you know, just loving one another and lifting one another up and making each other laugh. That's all he was about.
Jones was murdered around 9:30 Wednesday night by a 22-year-old acquaintance who was visiting with several others. Witnesses tell investigators the man spit in Jones's kitchen sink, so Jones told him that was disrespectful and to leave. But instead of just walking out, the man became agitated and opened fire on Jones, shooting him multiple times and then running away.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the whole situation on how or even why it happened.
I'm a strong believer of God, and I do believe that God chose him to come home. Whatever situation or scenario he used to bring my brother home, that's what he chose to use.
Using a drone and tracking dogs, Oakland County Sheriff deputies were able to locate and arrest the suspected shooter and another man described as an accomplice.
At the end of the day, God has the last word, and Cornelius Jones, he will have justice.
Jones leaving behind 3 children. His family says he didn't have life insurance, so they've started a GoFundMe for help with burial expenses for the man who made a lasting impact on so many.
Very humble, very giving, friendly, accepted all.
He didn't have much, but what he did have, he gave. He gave willingly. He gave sparingly. He gave graciously.
In Pontiac, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.
Crime is just so, it's ridiculous how senseless it has gotten. You know, my heart goes out to him. My heart goes out. I forget what state this happened. But my heart goes out to that college student who was murdered by I believe one of those so-called migrants. You know, she was going out for a jog, and the illegal migrant, his apartment was right in that vicinity of the walking trail, right? Anyway, they traced it back to him. He wasn't even supposed to be in this country. And he done murdered, a college student. So, prayers go out to her family. Listen, Gun Freak Nation, keep your head on a swivel, because crime is at a all-time high. Summer ain't even hit yet, and it's hitting the fan already. So I'm telling y'all, please stay savage ready. Keep your head on a swivel. Stay armed at all times if you can. Get that training. If you unfamiliar with firearms, get that training. Get to the range, get the training, and be ready to send them savages to Funky Town, because it's crazy out here. We living in a crazy, evil, wicked world with people that don't, have no regards for human life. So, on that note, my prayers go to the family. My condolences go to the families, of all of the victims I spoke about, in this video. To the 11-year-old girl, to the guy that, was murdered because he told somebody they shouldn't be spitting in his kitchen sink, and to the college student that lost her life. Thank you, Biden, for keeping them borders open. You ought to be ashamed yourself. You letting savages come across the border, and at the same time, you raising hell with law-abiding citizens about being armed. You want to make it to where we can barely even protect ourselves against savages like that. Maybe if she would have been armed, maybe she'd still be here. Think about that. God Free Nation, I love you. Listen, stay armed. Stay responsible with your firearms. Stay righteous. And be ready to send them demonic savages to Funky Town. I love y'all. Salute.